Hello screenwriters, I wanted to do a special video because we are now at the second round of the greatest screenplay of all time. As you know, a few weeks ago, I wanted to start this NCAA type of bracket of the greatest screenplay of all time. If you guys don't know, I love reading screenplays, and what better way to kind of like show this by putting up some of my favorite screenplays to voting to kind of like see what you guys like to read, and you tell me what your favorite screenplay is. So it's been kind of cool just watching all the voting. So every week what I do is I post the poll on Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube, then I let you guys vote on it. So there's been a lot of surprises. Okay, so where are we right now? Okay, we are at the second round, and what screenplays made it to the second round? So here's the breakdown. We have Commando versus Birdman, and Birdman won it. Groundhog Day versus Speed. Groundhog Day was the winner. The Hateful Eight versus The Dark Knight. Now that one was the tough one because The Hateful Eight is an incredible screenplay, but somehow The Dark Knight ended up winning by a lot actually. So this one was kind of a surprise. People love The Dark Knight screenplay. After that, we had Before Midnight versus Children of Men. Children of Men won it. Well deserved. It's a classic. Then we have Toy Story 4 versus Die Hard. Of course, Die Hard won it. You know, there's a lot of hardcore Die Hard fans out there. And then The Usual Suspect versus The Truman Show. This one was another tough one. I thought The Usual Suspect would actually win this one, but I was surprised. The Truman Show won that one. And we had Legally Blonde versus Sideways, two very fun screenplays to read. Legally Blonde won it. We have Mean Girls versus Liar Liar. Mean Girls won it. Mean Girls, surprisingly, when I read the screenplay, I was like, oh, this screenplay is good. We have Lost in Translation versus American Beauty. Of course, American Beauty won it. It also won Best Original Screenplay, or was it Best Adapted Screenplay at the Oscars? Anyway, American Beauty won the Oscar, so obviously it was going to be tough to beat that one. We have Scarface versus Raiders of the Lost Ark. Raiders of the Lost Ark won it. We have Natural Born Killers and Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler won this one. We have Slumdog Millionaire versus Crash. So this was a bit of controversy. I'm not sure if you guys remember the Crash. Not the one that came out in the 90s, but the one that came out in the early 2000s. A lot of people kind of hated that movie, hated that screenplay. So yeah, Slumdog Millionaire won that one. And we have The Silence of the Lambs versus Reservoir Dogs. This one was another tough one. The Silence of the Lambs won it, of course. Classic. We have Psycho versus Goodfellas. This one was a tough one. Of course, Goodfellas won it. And then we have National Lampoon's Vacation versus Ex Machina. This was a strange pairing. So, I've had a couple of those where I paired some strange screenplay together. Ex Machina won that one. We have Promising Young Woman versus Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I would have to say this was probably, it wasn't my toughest one to decide. I mean, obviously, I didn't decide the winners, you guys did, but when I post the screenplays, I'm conflicted too because there's a lot of screenplays that I love. So, Promising Young Woman, I love that screenplay so much. Into the Spider-Verse, what else can I say about that screenplay? That screenplay was just amazing. So, I'm glad I didn't have to choose because, you guys chose it, and you guys chose Spider-Man to the Spider-Verse winning. And then we had The Social Network versus Django Unchained. This was another one that's like one of those tough ones. The Social Network won it. And we have A Few Good Men versus Forrest Gump. Oh man, this was another tough one. But A Few Good Men won it. If you've ever read that screenplay for A Few Good Men, you will see why it won it. And then after that, we have The Godfather versus 12 Angry Men. I would have to say this one was another tough one. 12 Angry Men is a classic, right? I mean, you know what? I need to do a separate video just to talk about how amazing 12 Angry Men is. I mean, I'm talking about just being in a room, and just being able to just have so much suspense, so much character, so much 12 Angry Men. I mean, if they don't already do it, every film school should study that screenplay, 12 Angry Men. With that being said, The Godfather still won. I mean, so it's The Godfather, right? We have Network versus Annie Hall. This one surprised me. I thought Annie Hall would have won it, but you guys voted for Network. Back to the Future versus Bridesmaid. Back to the Future won it. The Big Short versus There's Something About Mary. The Big Short won it. Zombieland versus Whiplash. Whiplash won that one. Chinatown versus Inside Out, 2 amazing screenplays. If you read a lot of screenwriting books, Chinatown always comes up as one of the greatest screenplays of all time, and obviously you guys thought so as well. Chinatown won over Inside Out. Spotlight versus Wedding Crashers, Spotlight won it. Parasite versus The Sixth Sense, Parasite won it. When Harry Met Sally versus Braveheart, this one kind of surprised me, but at the same time I wasn't that surprised. When Harry Met Sally won. So yeah, the next one is Aliens versus Get Out. Not Alien, the original, but Aliens, the James Cameron one. That screenplay, oh, it's so amazing. However, Get Out won it. I would still recommend you read Aliens if you haven't read it. Aliens has some of the best, as a matter of fact, in my opinion, the best scene descriptions I've ever read in a screenplay. It's just so amazing. While I was editing this, I realized I missed 3 battles. The Shawshank Redemption versus Stranger Than Fiction. The Shawshank Redemption won. Juno versus Knives Out. Juno won. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind versus Pulp Fiction. This was a tough battle between LinkedIn. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind won. And lastly, we have A Quiet Place versus Hotel Rwanda. A Quiet Place won it. All right, so those were all the results for the first round of the greatest screenplay of all time. If you want to actually see the numbers, meaning how many people voted for which screenplay, I do have a playlist called The Greatest Screenplay of All Time. I'm going to try to see if I can post the playlist right here. If you don't see it, just go to the YouTube channel and search for playlist. And also, here is the complete list of the screenplays that's moving on to the second round. As I mentioned before, the greatest screenplay of all time poll is similar to the NCAA tournament. So after the second round, there's going to be the Sweet 16. Then after the Sweet 16, it's going to be the Elite 8. After the Elite 8, Final 4. And then finally the championship round. Do you think your screenplay will make it to the next round? Or did you have any favorite screenplays that made it to the second round? Me personally, I'm rooting for 2 specific screenplays. One of my screenplays didn't make it to the next round. I'm not going to tell you which one it is. But I'm hoping my my other 2 favorite screenplays make it to the next round. They made it to the second round, but I'm hoping they make it to the championship round. So we'll see. I have no influence on the voting. I just put it out there and you guys vote. All right, y'all, the second round of the greatest screenplay of all time kicks off with Birdman versus The Dark Knight. You could vote on the community tab here, or you could go to Twitter, just search for Stratword, and I'm going to have the poll there as well. Or if you're on LinkedIn, just search for my name, Patrick Pierre, and then you can vote for Birdman versus The Dark Knight. All right, everyone, go out there and read some screenplays. If there's any particular screenplay that's on this list or that you like to read, just let me know. I may have it in my vault and I'll share it with you. If you think about writing your first screenplay, go to your favorite app store, download Stratword. Fade out.